We'll all think it's right.
Okay, we'll go ahead and call the meeting in order. First item is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item on the agenda is public comment. We have Stephanie Coleman. Come forward, state your name and address.
Stephanie Coleman, 511 North Adams in Junction City. I was here a year ago about the bus stop because there's still not a shelter or bathroom or anything because most of the time Spin City isn't open. And today's a perfect example about the weather. These people stand out in freezing rain and the wind and thunderstorms, and there's still not a shelter, and they said they were going to check on it last time I was here. But
Well, the ATA-bus is run through the county and the Metropolitan Planning Organization.
Are you talking ATA-bus or Greyhound?
the Greyhound bus,
Greyhound bus.
yes,
Can I comment?
Sure.
at Spin City. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me give you a little history, and everybody here. Year and a half ago, a few of us were contacted that the Greyhound bus station, there was, whoever they were stopping at in Grandview Plaza was,
Yeah.
the agreement had been separated. So they contacted us, and at that time, Mayor Fitzgerald at that time and I came up with an idea one night, hey, we'll try it there. We did that on a temporary basis. The city does not, we don't want to be in the business. Since that time, the bus company has tried to contact another business where they could have a stop at. They've not been successful. However, about a month ago, I think I mentioned at a commission meeting, we did have somebody come in the next day and brought me a suggestion. That suggestion has been forwarded to Sarah with Greyhound. I don't know the follow-up. You know, I don't think the city should be in the best business. We did it from a standpoint of keeping the, because if we were going to stop, it might have stopped for a year, and then the question was, would you bring it back? And I don't think there's anybody disagreed the value of to our community to have a bus stop in town for the Greyhound services. It's good for our community, for the whole population. But it's that we are not in the business, and I think everybody would hope if there's a business that wants to get in contact with myself, and we can put in contact with Greyhound right away, and they can get get paid to do it.
Yeah.
Alan, I
Maybe
thought
do
somebody said
something.
something about the foyer being open.
When they're,
Inclement weather?
well, the problem is the bus stops at times when it's not open at all.
Like 5 a.m.,
Yeah.
7 at night.
Right.
They drop them off at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah. We're not. I mean, there's better businesses than us to be in the business. You know, and if anybody has a lead on it, again, just contact me and I will get them. Like the person that came in my office a couple weeks ago, we got in contact with Sarah right away, and I haven't heard anything else. So.
but I think McDonald's would be good out by the interstate, but
Not much room for a bus there. I mean, it's pretty
Yeah.
tight parking as it is. I don't think they're going to allow that.
yeah, but I don't know. They need to do something, but
I don't think anybody disagrees. Yeah.
so. And then February 16th, my car was the only car in the parking lot, and the bus pulled in, and that big pole there, I was parked on the other side of it, and the bus did a big U-turn, and the back end of the bus hit the front of my car. My car was the only car in the parking lot. And then the bus driver lied and told him his personal insurance. And then Greyhound Corporate finally called me Wednesday and said he shouldn't have even gave his personal information. So it's a big mess. I haven't had a car for 3 weeks, so I don't know, it's a mess. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Next item is the consent agenda. Are there any questions?
I didn't have any questions. I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. Go ahead.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or comment?
Nope.
All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Ayes have it, 5-0. We have a presentation that's just kind of got put on the agenda yesterday from a member from the Sundance Salute Committee, Mr. Hillstab.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Thanks for the time. I appreciate it. I'm Terry Hellstab. I'm representing the Sundown Salute Committee. We are requesting to use the municipal auditorium on April 21st. We've had a roast scheduled. We had to reschedule for Captain Trish Giordano. She's graciously agreed to do that. This will be a good fundraiser. And we are requesting, if at all possible, Coach's Grill and Bar, they will cater the meal and the alcohol. They have a mobile liquor license, and it's my understanding, excuse me, that it's allowed at the municipal building, but it does need to be approved by the city commission. Our committee is willing to set up and clean up, so if at all possible, this is a great fundraiser for Sundown Salute and for the city. We'd ask, if at all possible, to waive the fees. And if you have any questions, I'd be certainly happy to try and answer anything.
How much are the fees?
I'm guessing it's 150 to 200.
$100 deposit and $25 an hour.
Okay, so
Deposit goes back
150,
to them.
give or take. And deposit's refundable, correct? Okay. A bad day. Nothing to do with you.
And I didn't hear how much the rent was.
It was $100
It's
deposit,
25 an hour,
$25 an hour.
so let's say 100
Then
and a half.
deposit's refundable,
Yeah.
so it's $25 an hour.
Okay.
But the question here, well, you got two questions. One is do you want to, city ordinance says you can't allow sale of alcohol in certain buildings in town, and that's one of them. And then the second thing is you want to charge the fee or don't you want to charge the fee?
I think, as far as the fee goes, I think the Sundown Salute is always a recognized fundraising event for the city, supported by the city, by police and
We do in-kind stuff
fire
for
and
them
everything
anyway.
like that. And I think it's a little bit different than something else, but I do believe it's something that we could, because
It's
of...
only $75. I think
Exactly.
we can let it go, so. I mean, they've had wedding receptions and all sorts of stuff in there for years and had alcohol and never had any problems at all.
Yeah, I don't know, I was told from city staff that probably we haven't done this for 8-10 years.
Mr. Vernon stopped it, I think.
He
Mr.
did.
Vernon stopped it when he
But
was...
the ordinance never changed. The
City
ordinance
manager,
still
the
allows.
ordinance never changed. It was just something,
City
am I correct,
Christmas
Mr. Lazier?
party Either, and they had alcohol with it.
Not since I've been here.
Not since you've been here.
I don't think it's an issue.
Okay.
We need a motion on that?
I think we need a motion.
Yes, you do.
Can I make a motion that we waive the fees and also we will allow alcohol,
Sale of alcohol.
sale of alcohol for the Sundown Salute roast event on April 21st?
21st, correct.
I think the word sale in
At
there is
the-
important. That way they don't have people bringing.
At the municipal building.
What was the,
I think the word sale needs to be in there. That way they have to buy it through your vendor and not bring it
yes,
themselves.
absolutely.
Is there a
Thought I
second?
found a
I'll
loophole.
second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or comment? All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank
We
you
appreciate
for
your
what you're doing.
support.
Appreciate it. Next item is special presentation by Veolia Water.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. My name is Peg Becker. I'm Vice President of Operations for Veolia. And I just wanted to take a couple minutes to say hello, put a face to my name, and also let you know that I'm in town this week along with Jeff Greer, who is with our technical group, who is working with Terry and staff on working with the East wastewater facility, Southwest, and water, as we're, continuing to work through the construction and bringing wastewater facilities online. And just wanted to say, tell us our appreciation of city support and through this whole process. And if anybody has any questions, please, feel free to contact myself or Jeff, and, certainly Carrie. And, we're hoping that, as the summer comes on and the facilities are, online, that, we can have some folks come on out and take a walk around, and certainly are welcome before that if you want to as well. But just wanted to say hello and thank you and put some faces to some names. So thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Becker?
Thanks.
Also, thank you.
Thanks for coming. Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next item is consideration of change order number 4, increasing cost by $7,584.51 of the municipal building and fire department plumbing and renovation project.
I'll defer to Brent Dean.
Redeem.
Hello.
We're seeing you way too often.
Yeah. You can ask city manager on that one. What we have is just some items on here that just are coming up with the changes. For instance, as you go down through this, I'll give you some examples. Running some plumbing here and there when you're planning on ongoing. There were a couple areas we hit a beam and then hit another beam and then trying to run around it, we can't go through it. Just with the old construction and try and plan with the new, those are some of the situations. We have some floor drains and floor sinks, which is a larger floor drain, elected to separate in the floors there for a better circulation down in the basement as you go down there. The way the condensation came in from the existing and then adding the new, running the pipes on the ground and so forth with the condensation, didn't want to trip on those. Some of the finishes are we were looking at, and that's where we're down to, is trying to get the finishes, pulling off some of the old and putting the new on. You're electing to cover some of that up as opposed to trying to scrape and paint and some of that. We're just, you're hitting a little bit of those roadblocks there. We had putting in a mop sink and some of that stuff for the fire department up there, which they've elected and wanted to do. That was kind of came in after the fact, if you know the construction that's
Sure.
going on up there. So have been working with them some to try and accommodate and doing that. And another little plumbing issues is changing some of the water fountains out that came in at the last minute. We've got some pipes running uphill as opposed to downhill, so to speak. And so it's a matter of getting back in the wall and trying to bring those down. So
And we talked about quite a few these things last time you were here as well, and these guys are like, well, they're $100,000 below budget to begin with.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but we
you
still
don't want
are.
to see every meeting, but
I don't want to
as
be
long
here,
as we
trust me.
kinda-
He took last meeting off.
Okay.
Did I? Oh, my God. So, but, yeah, I mean, we are getting down to crunch time, ahead of schedule on them.
When are we
So
expected to be
they were,
completed?
4/23 is when their contract is. However, they're trying to be out at the end of the month,
Okay.
and even sooner.
Great.
So that's a good thing. Yeah, and just trying to finalize all the
Sure.
last.
We had a good contractor that worked well with our staff, and very open, and they had an issue last week that under no control, there's one of their subs backed out on them.
Yes.
They were ready for this, the sub said, well, I'm not going to do it. I mean,
So,
it was the piece that has to happen next,
yeah, and we're fighting, on some of those to make them happen.
Any other
so.
questions for Mr. Dean?
No.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the change order number 4 in the increasing cost of the allotted amount to the municipal building and fire department plumbing and renovation project.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or comment?
Nope.
In favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Thanks.
Next item is consideration of the agreement with the State of Kansas Department of Commerce for the Small Cities Community Block Development Grant Program.
Mayor and Commissioners, as you know, the community was offered or given a community development block grant, small city community development block grant in the amount of $188,244. Shauna and I, along with Mrs. Davis, went to the grant workshop, and since you're getting state money, you got to follow some state rules. But basically, it says we're going to accept the money and follow the rules. As you know, in the process last fall, we hired a grant administrator from Northwest Kansas Planning Development at Hill City, and there's certain things that have to happen. I mean, you know, even though they want to work with a certain given person or a vendor on playground equipment, there has to be some bidding processes and everything else. So, no problem, but this just says that we're going to do it to get the money.
Need to make a motion on that, Alan? Do we
Are
need a
there any
motion?
other questions?
Yes, you
Any other
Give
questions?
the mayor authority to sign.
No, sir.
No.
Is there a motion?
A motion to approve the mayor to sign the agreement to obtain the CDBG funds.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item is consideration to award the dedicated turf sprayer bid to irrigation and turf equipment for one Toro Multi-Pro 1250 turf sprayer in the amount of $10,165. Gentlemen.
Good evening, Mayor Landis and Commissioners. My name is John Bernstein. I'm the PGA golf professional and general manager at Rolling Meadows Golf Course. We come before you tonight requesting your approval on the lease purchase of some golf course equipment. Nick Youngers, our golf course superintendent, will speak more specifically about these items in a moment. Our goal at Rolling Meadows, since I arrived almost 7 years ago, has been to improve the quality of the facility, at the same time reduce spending. Prior to my tenure, there appeared to be some neglect to the golf course and to the equipment. There did not appear to be a preventative maintenance program in place. We currently have, and have had since day one, a very sound preventative maintenance program that has helped extend the life of existing equipment. We thank you for your time this evening, and here to speak in detail about the equipment is Nick Youngers, Golf Course Superintendent.
Thank you, John. Mr. Mayor, Commission, we're here with 4 items tonight, each individually going through. It'll bring 5 pieces of equipment to the golf course maintenance fleet. It's going to be a big improvement. We've scrapped together the best we could for as long as we could, and this will make our life a lot easier, getting out the door in the morning and getting the course prepped. So we'll start with the sprayer. We currently have a Pro Gator with a sprayer attachment. Based on the serial number, the sprayer attachment is somewhere in the age of 1995 to 2000, so it is extremely old.
Vintage.
Vintage, yeah. And even in 10 years, the model that was bid and won the bid is a 2005 model. There's been big improvements in that time frame, even from what we have to what was bid. What would happen is we would keep both the old sprayer as a backup just for a rainy day in case anything happened to if approved, this sprayer. The Gator has a dump bed that we can put on it instead of the sprayer attachment, which would be useful for picking up limbs, things across the course. This new sprayer would be specifically for spraying turf areas, greens, fairways, rough, things like that, and it would be only used as that.
The recommendation was for $10,165.
Correct.
$1,165.
Correct.
To
Irrigation and turf.
equipment.
There is a used John Deere for $7,500.
If you look on the bid, it says that it comes with a new motor, so we're not sure what's going on with the motor that's in it. Yeah. An extra motor is the way they phrased it, I believe. Yeah.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah, that's a red flag.
That's to entice you to consider it.
Yeah.
Any further questions?
No.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to recommend the approval of award of bid to irrigation and turf equipment, the amount of $10,165.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or comment? All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item is consideration to award the pull-behind wide area finish mower bid to Shuck Implement for one Woods TVW 150C wide area finish mower in the amount of $10,626. Gentlemen.
Currently, our rough mowers, we have 2 rough mowers that are around 100 inches or less. It takes 2 days, 2 to 3, depending on the weather conditions, whatnot, tournaments, to complete rough mowing, and we mow rough once a week. By the weekend, our rough is out of control and too tall. This is something that'll bottleneck play when people hit the ball in the rough, looking for their ball and whatnot. So we decided that a pull-behind area wide was our best course of action because it's a 12.5-foot cut, which allows us to mow rough in 1 day. So now we can mow rough beginning, end of the week, and have more consistent rough, which makes it a lot easier to find balls, speed up play, things like that. I'm also recommending that we surplus the Lastech articulator mower. Once we are done with the Zoysia conversion, second half of it, we will then proceed with a auction to sell it. And the winning bid was Shuck Implement out of Lawrence, Kansas for $10,626.
So you have room for all the equipment that you're asking for tonight?
Yeah.
Just the heck, I gotta
Yep,
ask.
gotta ask, yep.
So, you talked about right now it's taking you 2 to 3 days to do all that rough mowing. With the new one, it's just gonna take you a day. So are you normally, and I apologize if I didn't hear what you said, how many times a week do you need to be rough mowing? So
Need to mow twice a week in season,
this
yeah.
will help you to,
This will help us achieve that.
More efficient use of manpower.
yeah.
Much more.
I mean, I've never hit the ball in the rough, so I don't
Yeah,
really
I
know
know.
what it's like.
Right?
Thinking the same thing.
Do we have any other questions? Is there a motion?
Make a motion that we award the bid to Shuck Implements for the pull-behind wide area finish mower.
I'll second.
For how much?
For $10,626.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any other further discussion or comment?
Do we need to
Surplus,
say
though.
and authorize the surplus sale of the 2012
Surplus sale, the other
Yeah.
piece of equipment? So just say as amended.
as amended? Oh, sorry.
As amended.
Can almost see Jeff's lips move on that one. So.
Yeah.
Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor of the amended motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item is consideration to award the 2 triplex greens mowers bid to Kansas Golf and Turf in the amount of $69,500.
Currently, our T-mowers is what the problem is with our triplex mowers. They have aged. Typically, you get 4,000 hours out of our triplex mowers. We're currently at 3,000 and 3,500. So to get ahead of the game and stay ahead of our equipment breaking down, we decided to upgrade the greens, shift our greens mowers currently to T mowers, which currently have 1,600 hours apiece. So that would update 2 areas of our fleet in total. The greens mowers that were bid, the Jacobson Eclipse 322s are technically advanced, is the best way I could phrase it. There are no hydraulics on the mower itself, which doesn't sound like a big deal, but they decrease the size of the motor, and 40% of fuel consumption is the cut. So using less fuel, we won't have to double cut with the technology on the mowers now, which saves a lot of man hour too. So
The change in grass is, we're fine either way, so.
yes, there's no adjustment to the T mowers with the Zoysia or anything like that. So we're good there. No additional cost for that.
And all the items that you're asking for tonight were in the budget that was submitted for this year.
Correct.
Budget to be lease purchased, and that, the lease purchase
Right.
comes down the road here.
Later in the
Yeah.
meeting. What's the expected life of greens?
For these greens mowers, it would be 10 to 12 years.
And the stuff you're using now, you've had it for quite some time.
I believe it's 5 or 6 years, yeah. So about half the life of those pieces. Now, by doing this, we'll extend the life of those pieces because they won't be used as much. So that should be noted as well. Yeah, and that is the normal progression for what golf courses do, is put your best greens or your best mowers on the greens, shift down to lesser use areas of the course.
Cycle through.
Yep, yep. Extends the life of the fleet greatly.
You do all the maintenance yourselves, or?
Yes, yeah, we do all the maintenance in-house. If there's been an occasion where the tractor had to go out, but we just didn't have the tools to work on the equipment,
Okay.
but yeah.
Any other questions?
Nope.
I'll make a motion to award the 2 triplex green mowers bid to Kansas Golf and Turf in the amount of $69,500.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or comment? All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item is consideration to award the used John Deere fairway mower bid to Precision Turf Products for a John Deere 7700 fairway mower in the amount of $19,500. Gentlemen.
Normally, I wouldn't bid out for a specific piece of equipment, but we are keeping a John Deere 7500 mower, and the reason we bid out for the specific equipment is because parts are interchangeable, so we stock less parts on the shelf for purposes. So, the 3225C current fairway mower that we will be surplusing, it is 5,290 hours. Typical life expectancy of a fairway mower is 4,500 to 5,000 hours. So we exceeded that, which that's a big win. The fairway mower that was bid was a John Deere 7700, 1,400 hours. So it has plenty of life left in it, especially with the Zoysia conversion. Once it's complete, the hours on the fairway mowers are going to be significantly less. The expectancy is about 15 to 20 years on this piece of equipment. And the 3225 that we would be surplusing, the reels will be kept off of that. They will not be surplused. And the reason for that is they fit on these other 2 mowers. So having a spare set of reels in season, we can swap out, and typically we grind in season. We won't have to now on one of the mowers.
So, question,
Yes,
the one that you're wanting to get, it's a used one, right?
correct.
And what year and how many hours? If you
It's a 2009 model of 1,400 hours, roughly 1,400. The new fairway mowers are around 62 to 65,000. You don't really gain a lot by purchasing new in a fairway mower. It's a diesel motor, it's well built, so you just don't gain by spending 40,000 more.
Diesel lasts a long time.
Yep.
had a diesel truck.
Bulletproof. Any further discussion?
No.
Motion?
I move to approve the award of bid to Precision Turf Product in the amount of $19,500 for the purchase of 1 used fairway mower and authorize the surplus sale of 1 2002 model 3225 Charlie John Deere fairway mower.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or comment?
Nope.
All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is consideration to award the 2017-2018 ambulance bid to American Response Vehicles for a 2017 AEV Trauma Hawk Ford F-550 in the amount of $272,353.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. We're at a point with our ambulances that we are in desperate need of replacing them. The Junction City Fire Department has an aging fleet. We have a 2001 Miller ambulance with 192,000 miles. We have a 06 Osage with 131,239 miles, an 09 Osage with 124,597 miles. We have a 2012 Osage ambulance with 91,000 and a 16 model with 44,000.
You take that in perspective that over the last 4 years, between the 2001, 6, and 9, we're averaging about $12,000 a year in maintenance on these vehicles. When we are considering that the Junction City Fire Department runs an estimated 3,260 calls a year, plus 38 transfers from medical facilities a month. We put a lot of miles on these vehicles and they run hard. What we're asking is to move forward with this as we budgeted last year to replace this unit, the 2001 unit. We're looking at the AV basically because we can get this unit in approximately 75 days. It's a low mileage unit, already built. They just need to repaint it, put a few attachments onto it that we asked for, and we can have this unit in service. Right now, one of my medical units is out of service. We need a new motor. We are searching for ways to do that as economically as possible. So the month of January, we were down to 2 ambulances for about 2 to 3 weeks.
Which one needs the new motor?
That would be Medic 2, the 2012, ma'am. We do, in the emergency medical field, you also have to remember that we also run fire calls. So these ambulances run about 5,500 calls a year, not mentioning the 38 transfers. So our fleet is aging, and that's really what this comes down to. We originally wanted to go with a Freightliner chassis to get a heavier duty vehicle. Unfortunately, right now it's a 26-week build time for those chassis. So Freightliner was out of the question. Now also, if you noticed in the notes in there, in the last one of the pages I put down, manufacturers are starting to retool their facilities for the next model year, so we're kind of in a lull right now of vehicles being available. So part on the bid sheet you saw where it was pending getting the chassis, or they had it in stock. And right now, we need to put an ambulance on the ground, so we have 5 ambulances. And it's not uncommon for us to run 5 ambulances during the day.
One thing we can do, thinking down the road a little bit, is when we prepare the 19 budget, because this is going to be lease purchase, so the first payment on all these will be next year. But we may want to start thinking about doing that ambulance, bid it out like October-ish, give him his 26, a half-year lead time he's going to have. That way he can have an ambulance coming about this time next year. We can bid it and put some things in place and
Like we do with the trash trucks.
yeah, we need to start getting a little more aggressive with this because he's riding. I know a couple of days he'll come over and he has every ambulance out at the same time.
Yes. Actually, 2 days ago, we had all 4 ambulances running calls. Be honest with you, I get a little nervous when Medic 5 goes in service. That's the 2001. We're really reaching. It's a good ambulance. It runs, but it's a 2001. We don't know how much longer that she'll keep doing this type of service with the miles that we're putting on them.
Are you going to declare that surplus, Chief?
Our plan actually is to, Public Works needs another unit for their new camera system. They have an older ambulance that that one was a single axle that, yeah. Yeah, it's a 92 model. So they would be able to upgrade to a 2001 and put their camera in that, have a larger vehicle to work out of. And I think that's a pretty good money saver for the city there. It'll do well for them. They're not going to be running 38 transfers a month, so it would be a good way to do that. And then that vehicle, that ambulance, can be surplused out.
Chief, you said that 2012 needs a new motor. So when I think of a vehicle needing a new motor, then that's telling me that it's not up and running.
No, ma'am, it's sitting at the yard right now. We have had continuous issues. We've sent it to the Ford dealerships here that do work on heavy trucks twice now, and it's come back with the same
I was
issue.
just listening. You said you had them all out the other day.
We had 4 of them out, yes, ma'am. The 5th one, the Medic 2, has not been in service for about a week now.
Okay.
And so we're hitting 4 ambulances. So as soon as they hit the hospital, drop a patient off, they're jumping back in the truck and going to the next scene. The fire engines are going from scene to scene to treat the patient till the ambulance gets there.
Yeah, we need to start getting ahead of this.
Yeah, and down the road, this is all going to fall in place. Our ambulance, Fire ambulance, we call it fire department, but ambulance is a big piece. It's a great service to our community. That staffing levels and all those things are going to come in the road to play down there as we provide service to the community.
We've increased,
Not bad problems.
sure, we've increased our calls by 13% over the last 4 years.
And the transfers and things are a revenue source too, so it's not just always money out the door.
And those have increased. When I first got here in November, we were doing maybe 28, 30. Now we're up to 38 a month, 40 a month sometimes. So the paramedics and the EMTs on these trucks are outstanding. I think they deserve the best equipment we can give them.
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, and so does everybody we go get picked up. These are good equipment. I mean,
Yes, the people that we're providing service to, they need the best. And to provide that all the way around, that's a service that can't be beat.
I speak from experience.
Well, one thing we can say about these new ambulances, they have liquid ride suspensions, so the ride will be a lot smoother. And the 550 is a heavier duty chassis than what we have now. And also, if they have to do maintenance, they don't have to take the seats out of the cab to get to the motor.
Are we still limited to the size of the ambulances because of our storage?
No, we can go to a Freightliner with no problem. If we can put that engine in there, we can put a Freightliner in there. That's a big engine. That's the problem with the station that we have at those bays, is we have about 3 inches on both sides of the mirrors to back that truck in. And the floor was put in for a 2-ton truck, and now we got a 60, 70,000 pound vehicle sitting on it.
Any further questions?
Move to approve the purchase of the 2017 AEV Traumahawk Ford F550 6.7-liter diesel from American Response Vehicles to be delivered in 75 days at a cost of $272,353.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or comment? All in favor of the motion respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks, Chief.
Next item is consideration to award the municipal building and fire department roof repair bid to Geisler Roofing in the amount of $125,364.87.
Evening, Mayor, Commissioners. In short, basically, the municipal building and fire department roofs have developed leaks. There's like 6 individual roofs up there. 5 of those are the flat-type roofs. Then they're all leaking. They're right at 20 years old apiece. As we did some inspections on it, we determined that it looked like hail damage. We were able to contact our insurance company. They came out and agreed. We filed a claim with them, and it looks like we would be able to go forward and get the roof replaced for basically the $2,500 deductible. We received 2 proposals, one from Geisler Roofing and one from McGee Roofing. Both very similar proposals, just a slightly different way they put the roof on. Geisler was the low bid. That's the bid we chose. And also, Geisler is the company that put the original roof on that's on there now, and it has made the 20 years. They're very familiar with it, and they've been great for service for us, too, in the past when we've needed
and we're
it.
not going to do the roof over the gym, correct?
Yes.
That's the
That's
only
why I put the little chart in there. The roof over the gym was put in '06, and it's a sloped roof, so it took the hail better and really didn't take any damage, and it's not leaking.
That's too bad.
So it'd be our suggestion, like I say, to move forward with the Geisler bid. The way their schedule is set now, they think mid-April they could start the process, and they anticipate a max of about 3 weeks to complete it.
It needs to be done. We've had some, with the icing this winter, we had some, you can tell about that?
Yeah, with the icing, the roof's not draining and ponding has been the problem. And then when it can't get off because the downspouts are iced up, it's really critical. It doesn't seem so bad in the summer when it rains because the water tends to get off a little quicker and we're not having the damage inside. But the icing over and the snow over this summer.
Payroll specialist, her office was a pond.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like 6 buckets.
It was a mess.
Right.
Tubs, yeah.
And also, just on a side note too, this is the same company and the same roofing structure that is going on the new fire station addition too. Same contractor, same, all the same.
I think Geisler did some police,
I think he might have.
either did the warehouse or the
I think he did the
police department.
police department.
I believe.
We've used them quite a bit. They're just have been a good company.
We get competitive bids, even though
Yes.
our cost is the $2,500, but,
Yeah, we
All
submitted
processes.
proposals and
It's good to have someone you're confident in. Any further questions?
I'd make a motion, we award the municipal building and fire department roof repair bid to Geisler Roofing for the amount of $125,364.87.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or comment?
Nope.
All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
thank you.
Thank you. Next item is consideration to award the 2018 street maintenance program bid to Bauer Construction in the amount of $864,084.25.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, let me pass out this map.
Oh, goody.
Thank you, Ray.
I like maps.
Ooh, I like maps.
Thanks.
So you can see where it's going to get done.
I need a new spot. Can't be by you.
Why?
Because you got that excited about a map.
Let's see my street.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, we're looking for consideration and approval for the award of bid for the 2018 street maintenance program. The city has budgeted $1.1 million in the street fund for the 2018 budget. We had Call Valley develop the preliminary plans, construction estimates, and quantities for the street project, and we went out for bid. Call Valley direct solicited and also had advertised in the Daily Union in the city website. And on February 15th, we received two bids. One was from Bauer Construction for the amount of $864,084.25, and from APAC Kansas in the amount of $1,036,622.95. The engineer's estimate was $1.1 million, and Bauer Construction was a low bid, which was $239,969 under the engineer's estimate. So we're going to look at doing 22 segments of mill and overlay, and then 4 segments of street for mastic. Trying to do a new surface overlay on some of the streets to see how that will work for us and give us some various tools to help us do some other work when we need to. So we're recommending that we award the low bid to Bauer Construction, amount of $864,084.25, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, and Chad McCullough from Call Valley is here to answer any questions you might have.
And we plan to bring you a change order for about $230,000 for additional streets. These are prices, as Chad can tell you, that we haven't seen.
Unheard of.
We had a local bidder. Up until a couple years ago, we only had one bid. Last year, we had competition came in. The local bid was not successful last year. They came back this year. The community, the taxpayers are getting quite a deal. We're actually going to be able to do about another 20% more, give or take, because of this low bid, but stay within the budget we have. And since we have streets to attack, I think it's a perfect move addressing some of the problems in the city.
Any questions?
But all you're approving tonight is the 864, but like I said, expect change orders.
Make a motion to move to approve the award of the 2018 street maintenance program in the amount of $864,084.25 to Bayer Construction Company Incorporated, Junction City, Kansas, as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or comment? All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners.
Next item is consideration of resolution R 2834, declaring intent to purchase golf course equipment and an ambulance with a lease purchase agreement not to exceed $382,000 or $382,144.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is to put in process the lease purchase. We're going to do something a little different this year. In the past, we just did one big lease purchase a year. We got the money, didn't get spent right away. I feel it's going to be better if we just do what we bought now. And we had some other things we budgeted this year. Street sweeper, sand spreaders. There's some other items that we'll have to purchase this year, but we'll do a second lease purchase. I think it's better to do the chunks of money we need now and not have it sit there and we're paying interest on money we're not using. So it all adds up to what you just proved earlier tonight. It adds up to $382,144. This resolution puts it in place. We'll put out RFPs, and probably the next meeting following that, you'll approve a lease purchase or have the opportunity to approve a lease purchase.
Questions for Mr. Nichol?
None.
None, sir.
Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the resolution number R 2834, declaring intent to purchase golf equipment, golf course equipment, and an ambulance with a lease purchase agreement not to exceed $38,144.
$382.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, $382,144.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or comment?
Nope.
All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Next item is executive session.
No.
Oh, we have none. Okay.
Chief
Oh,
still
I'm
got
sorry.
one.
I'm sorry, Chief. Almost. Consideration
Rescue.
resolution R 2835, authorizing the Junction City Fire Department to participate in the State of Kansas Urban Search and Rescue Program and approving an agreement with the Kansas Office of State Fire Marshal. Chief.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, we have an opportunity. We've been invited to join the Kansas Search and Rescue Task Force 2. This is a multi-hazard discipline that involves location, extrication, and initial medical stabilization for trapped victims as a result of man-made or natural disasters. We will be teaming up with Manhattan, Fort Riley, and the northeast section of Lawrence and those fire departments that are on this team. This is a great opportunity for Junction City to be involved in something that is far-reaching than just our community, but also have our personnel prepared to respond in our community and be able to coordinate those resources and assets that come in during one of these events and know what the policies are, know what the processes are, know the people that are going to be doing it, know what resources are coming. This is a opportunity to join a state agency, and they pay for the training, they pay for the time. When our people are deployed, they pay for the hours. There is little investment that we do other than provide the bodies to do the training and gain valuable skills. And I have 12 people that are pretty much chewing on bones right now, ready to go.
Not all at once.
We will probably send about 4 to 6 to training. What the plan is that we have is teaming up with Manhattan and Fort Riley. We won't have to send everybody. If it's depending on the size of the incident, we could send 4, they could send 4, that type of deal. And Fort Riley has an outstanding structural collapse team that I was privileged to be an observer controller for last year. And having our folks team up with those people will have a team that can't be beat. I really feel that.
Any further questions for Chief?
No, it's a good program.
Yep.
Just hope they don't have to come here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope we never use them and all they do is train.
Make a motion, we approve Resolution R 2835, authorizing Junction City Fire Department to participate in the State of Kansas Urban Search and Rescue Program.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion or comment? All in favor of the resolution, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Next time is executive session for non-elected personnel.
I move that the commissioner recess for an executive session to include the city attorney and city manager for 10 minutes.
I'll second.
Hold on, at,
You need to read it.
I am, that's what,
Sorry.
at
7:50.
7:50 PM to discuss an individual employee's performance. The justification for the executive session is to protect the privacy of the employee's personnel record and is provided by KSA 75-4319 Bravo 1. The open meeting is to resume in this room at 8 PM.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Way.
If I'm sitting there,
Is there a
they can
motion?
squeeze by. I make a motion that we come back in from executive session
Or no,
with where no action was taken
no decisions.
and no decisions were made. Thanks.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Next time is commissioner comments. Commissioner Underhill.
Yeah, I'm getting all my notes out. I finally met, so I finally have something to report.
Oh, no.
The Chamber Board hired Amy Garner to be the Director of Membership and is basically the one that's going to do the chamber work on the chamber side. She'll do all the event coordination, build membership and everything. They're having a meet and greet for her April 19th at 3:30 there at the chamber offices. They're moving forward in the MAC Director Search position. And then the annual banquet last month had record attendance, so things are moving for the chamber. The MPO, we met for the first time and got an update on some of the traffic safety improvements that they've done in our area as far as things such as the light down on Franklin that has cut down on accidents and serious accidents and injury accidents, and they are working on accident reports as part of the Diamond interchange on 77 as well to show how those things have cut down on serious accidents.
Very well, thank you. Commissioner Albritton, back from
Yes.
Middle East.
Yes, I'm just so
Glad to
glad to
have
be
you
You bring
here
some
in
gold?
person.
You bring
No.
some gold?
No, I didn't bring no gold. So glad to be here in person. Just thanks everybody for the help that had me on the phone and facilitating all of that and everything. So just glad to be here. I'll have be present. I have a next Wednesday we have animal shelter meeting, so I'll be there. And so at that following commission meeting, I'll be able to give a report on that as well. So other than that, just glad to be here.
Thank you.
Be back.
Commissioner Brown.
Mayor, I just want to remind everybody about, there's a community forum Thursday night, I believe at the Dorothy Bramlett Library, am I correct?
Yes.
At 6:30. Other than that, I don't have anything else, sir.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Just report on a couple of things. This week we have our military affairs meeting tomorrow at the chamber at 4 o'clock. You're more than welcome to always come to it. Two of the items in discussion, one, talked a little bit about it at the last meeting, is just want to bring everybody up to date on the Home Away from Home program, the Adopt a Soldier program. Right now, in our community of Junction City, Garrett County, and I'll include Chapman because we have family over there, we have 25 host families that are hosting 45 brand new to the Army and Fort Riley soldiers. So if anybody's interested in that program of becoming a host family for these new soldiers to, potentially be a friend to them, a mentor to them, someone that they can engage with outside the community, and we can all share our community with them, please reach out to me and I will help to get you signed up to become a host family. The other thing I'd like to talk about is I spent a lot of time in the city working on cleanup and first impressions of our community and everything like that, and I also mentioned it at the last meeting, but on Chestnut Street, we've put a lot of emphasis on Chestnut because it is one of the exits coming into Junction City. And it's very important that our community looks good for people when they do come here, and for all of us that live here as well. So along Chestnut Street, there are 15 flower beds. And we've got a project where we are working on getting those flower beds filled with flowers and decorative or ornamental grass, shrubs, things like that. I know it's- Anyway, so we got a program where we're doing that, and I've got the landscape blueprints, so to speak, for each one of them, and they all have a value to them of what it would cost to put all the flowers and the grass and the bushes and stuff like that in there, and the mulch. And before we actually do all that, our city is going to be getting the water and the irrigation and everything in there, so when we plant all this stuff that, you know, they have water coming to them. But anyways, where I'm getting at with this, there's 15 of them, and I've reached out and had people reach to me that said, you know, Phyllis, I want to help. They heard about the program, and I've had 4 private citizens and 2 businesses select one of the flower or different flower beds and write a check that the city has established an account that all that money will go into. And what the city, what we're going to be doing is putting like a 12 by 12 sign, you know, this pot was sponsored by, you know, we'll get the details of that as we move along with it and everything like that. So, and our plan is to be able to, working with our Parks and Recreation, is to hopefully start getting all those flowers and stuff in there mid to late April. So the city will do a good job of getting them all in, and myself and volunteers will pick some days and time, we'll come and help and everything like that. But I guess what I'm doing is that I'm just reaching out to the community, to businesses. If you're interested in being a part of this great big project of ours, then, you know, just reach out to us and we can definitely get you involved. And at the same time, I'd caveat my fellow commissioners here, if y'all are interested in, or challenge you to, you know, be a part of that, maybe donate, please do so. And the last thing I'll mention is that and I think we talked about it last meeting as well, the garrison, there's been a change of responsibility with the Garrison Command Sergeant Major, so we got to attend that recently, and also last evening, some of us got to also welcome Mrs. Bristow here as well. So you'll see some new faces in Garrison with the new Garrison Sergeant Major. So Mayor, that's all that I have for you.
Thank you. Met with the EDC this past month for our committee meeting, and a lot of things going on. Can't really discuss much at this point, but some proposals have been made to some different firms to try to attract them here, even with some Junction City land bank lots. So very excited about our land bank meeting that we had tonight. That we made some good headway tonight to make our lots extremely attractive so that they get put in play here very soon. We'll be putting out a request for proposal to local real estate firms to serve as a listing agent for the land bank lots. We will charge them with developing a website and taking phone calls to sell these properties, get them in play. So that's a really good thing. I had a request from the director of the CVB that there's a TAC conference. I can't remember what the acronym is for.
Travel Industry Association of Kansas.
Thank you. That they would like, they're trying to attract them here for their annual convention here this fall. And one of the events, they'd like to have a skate night as part of that. So they would like to be able to use Spin City. And under our current ordinance, Spin City is not covered in our use of or allowing alcoholic beverages to be served. So that's something they would like us to discuss and see if we would consider amending in the ordinance to include that as part of that thing. Obviously, we wouldn't have high school kids working there that night, that would be occurring. So that's something we'd like to discuss at our next meeting. So the city manager will be drafting some language regarding that. That's really about all I have right now. So, Mr. Nickel.
Remember how short I was last time? Don't count on it. A couple things coming up.
The clock is ticking.
Clock's ticking. Next week, Thursday night, the 15th, 5:30 to 7:30 is going to be the ribbon cutting grand opening of the Children's Mercy Project at the hospital. I had the opportunity to be on the healthcare, Community Healthcare Foundation Board. I turned it yesterday. You'll be impressed. Some of us heard a presentation last week at Junction City First meeting, because Junction City First put up $100,000. A couple of us are donors to Junction City First. I think there's going to be impact here. It's going to take some time, but it's going to be a service to the youth in our community, plus also people that were traveling from western Kansas or southern Nebraska having to go to Kansas City can maybe stop here now on their subsequent visits, and I think it's going to be a nice piece out there, and hopefully some additional revenue to the hospital for the ancillary services. So a good thing. April 21st, details will be coming out, police department and all the committee, public works and everybody else. Earth Cleanup Day will be April 21st. Spin City, kind of the same program as the past. This year the sponsor is Papa Smurfy's, so we get pizza this year. I know there's been a lot of discussion this week about the threats made at the school. I want to say that I believe, as city manager, our police department has been professional, have handled it in the utmost care of the community. I don't know if Chief Reese will say something later on, but there's a lot of criticism sometimes that when they do that, but I believe all along the goal was to keep the community safe, and I think they did it in a very professional manner. I'm very proud of them. And that's, I think, what we expect as community on that. We do have a joint city-county meeting on the 26th. Basically, the agenda as we've probably had so far is, one, we're going to continue discussion of the proposed high school site and the roads and everything that's going to have to be thought about for the next 3 years. A lot of people say, well, why didn't we think about that? Well, that is not when the city got involved. It was a school process. Now we decide how we flow and traffic and how public works fits in there and police and ambulance and the whole bit. I'll be inviting the MPO to be there as well. And it's going to be a process. That's not going to be a one-time deal, but bring out all the issues and we talk about them and ultimately how we're going to get it all solved on that. Also, we'll have a presentation and talk about mental health in this community. I believe Vice Mayor Fitzgerald went to a seminar along with County Commissioner Bennett, and they'll talk about some mental health and the concerns of our community, and I think that's a good thing as well. So, can't forget this. Kansas Magazine, Junction City's featured it this month. A nice story on Junction City right there. I don't know if there's any more of these landed at the CVB. Did you get one?
I did.
You got one, okay. But nice 4 pages on Junction City in the Kansas Magazine. And I think that's what we need to keep promoting our community, and it all fits together. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Logan?
I don't have anything.
Ms. Milton?
Nothing.
Nothing. Mr. German?
Nothing this evening, sir.
Chief Reese?
Nothing, Mr. Mayor, unless you have any questions for me.
I do not. We support your department, and we appreciate the professional approach you guys have taken in keeping our community safe. So thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Johnson?
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Lazier? Mr. McCullough? Mr. Peterson?
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. Ibarra? Is there a motion?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor of the motion, respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you and good night.